cabbage steak lasagna. We've got our savoury minced beef and we've got our cheese. That is absolutely flipping sensational. Look at that. Hi everyone, welcome to Backyard Chef. I'm Rick. Today we are doing a real tasty one. It's an absolute cracker. We're going to take the normal cabbage rolls. We've got some beef mince, but you can use chicken or pork or whatever, it's up to you. We're going to take the normal cabbage rolls where you would normally wrap with the cabbage leaves, and we're going to turn it into like an elevated cabbage steak lasagna, but no pasta, lasagna with a lovely meat sauce, and we're going to top it with cheese and things. It's going to be a cracker. Come on, let's do it. On here I've got a couple of these little cabbages. I managed to pick them up. I've taken the top leaves off. We're just going to slice these into 1 centimetre steaks, so we can have the ends, because the ends will be used as a filler, and we're going to keep the lot. So just come through nice and easy. Try and keep it together. I mean, it's not all going to stay together, obviously, you know, because the cabbage is made up of all the leaves and we're cutting straight through. But we're going to try and keep it like that if we can. This is a real cheeky, it's a fantastic recipe. I make it all the time. It's just easier than messing around rolling cabbage. So we're getting these decent steaks, if you like, cabbage steaks. Now, if there's any cabbage offcuts or bits that fall off, so be it. You know, we can use that anyway. Don't worry about that. So we're getting these lovely little bits of cabbage steak here, look. Now, I'm going to use both of these, but probably one will do, but, you know, I'm not sure. Right, what we're going to do is take some olive oil. I've got some olive oil. I've just put some in this tub. And we are going to brush over that cabbage like that. Make sure you've got your oven on. Oven has to be on about 200. We are going to bake this cabbage first whilst we do our meat sauce. It's a cracking recipe, this one. Okay, now we have a tray, and the easiest thing to do is put that cabbage on there, oil side down, where we've just oiled. And you guessed it, we want all the other side, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this cabbage first. Now, like I say, you can use as much cabbage or as little cabbage as you want. That's up to you. So there's our cabbage laid out nice and neatly, oil side down. We want some oil on this side. Brush it up. We're going to bake these. Now, you can salt and pepper this as well, which we will do. However, we're not going to put much on, because that will affect the contents of our dish. So we'd have to be careful. And by doing it this way, you know, the oil's going to soak into that cabbage. Now, I'm not going to salt too much on this, actually. So just a little bit on there like that. And some pepper. Pepper can go on, not a problem. That's going inside, but you know, again, salt and pepper to taste. So there we are, there's our cabbage. Whack that in the oven about 15 minutes or 15-20 minutes, no longer than that, and turn it halfway. We want to try and colour the bottom, colour the top. We want to try and cook it a little bit. In it goes. While that's cooking in there, we've got an onion to chop. It's only a small onion, look. And, you know, you can chop it any which way you want. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to dice it up quite small. Okay, in that bowl. Now I'm using garlic. You don't have to if you don't want. That's up to you. Give it a squidging and a rough chopping. You can get the old mincey thing out if you want and give it a squashing up. So we're not going to be bothered about that. There we go. In there. Okay, grab a pan, get a pan on. For all those people who like cabbage rolls, this is a cracking recipe. A little bit of olive oil in there. You can use any oil of choice. We want a flame on. And we want to go in there with that garlic and onion. You don't have to heat the pan up to get that in there. Now we're using passata today, which we made the other day on the channel. We've got quite a lot of it actually. Now passata, if you don't have it, get a tin of tomatoes and liquidize it. Then you have passata. Just take the rawness out of the garlic and onions. You don't have to cook it too high and you don't have to rush. Just take your time. In there with our beef, or you could use pork or chicken, whatever you want to use. Start breaking it up and start cooking it in there. A little bit of seasoning, a little bit of pepper in there, and a little bit of salt. Salt to taste as usual. We're going in there with a little bit of smoked paprika. Well, you that smokiness in there. Optional, if you don't want to use it, don't put it in. Use paprika. And if you don't like that, don't put that in either. As per usual, look at that. There's some water coming out of this beef. What we will do, we'll use that water to our benefit and we'll go in there with some dried herbs. Going in there with Italian herbs. Link on the channel as usual. If you don't have Italian herbs, oregano and basil. They'll rehydrate in there and that's going to flavour all of that. That'll be beautiful. There we go, that's evaporated off quite nicely in there. Right, we're going to go in with some flavouring, seasoning. A little bit of Worcester sauce going in there. A little bit of Dijon mustard. And we've got a little bit of tomato puree. Stir in. Work that in there. Oh, look at that. Fabulous. There's the base for our meat sauce. And we're going to go in there with some caraway seeds. Probably going with about a teaspoon caraway seeds. In there, a little bit of sugar. Sugar optional, obvious, if you don't want to put it in. That's up to you. Oh, there's some smell going on in there now. And we're going in there with our passata. There we go. And there's our meat sauce. Look at that. Now we're just going to give that a cooking for about 10 minutes. Let all those flavours get together. That passata will not be so tomato sour. Beautiful. So you turn the flame down and you cook it uncovered to just give it a little bit of thickness in there and all those flavours come together. Whilst that's happy cooking in there for 10 minutes, we need to turn our cabbage. That really does look beautiful. Okay, flip it over. Whoo-wee. Let's get some colour on this side. That's quite warm actually. Of course it is. It's been in the oven. Turn it over. Try and keep it together. Don't worry if it doesn't. Like we say, you know, as long as we can keep some of the layers together, make it easy for us. Back in the oven. Just keep giving that lovely meat sauce a stir. Make sure it doesn't catch on the bottom as those flavours all get together. That looks superb. Okay, cabbage is doing really nicely in there. I can smell that. And this meat sauce for me is just perfect. Flame off, that's job done. So all we're going to do is grab that cabbage out of there. I'm going to start to put it all together. I'm using about a 9 by 13 glass dish. You can use anything that fits, obviously. In there, we've got a little bit of that meat sauce. What a layer in there. Just a little bit. That's going to flavour up from the bottom. Okay, and then you take your cabbage, whichever which way up you want. Look, we've got a lovely caramelization going on there. Look at that. That is superb. Get that on there like that. Now you can put it in any which way you want, you know, just make it fit. Oh, look at that caramelization there. Fabulous. What flavor. And then all you've got to do is fill up the gaps. So, and then we're going on there with a layer of cheese. Of course we are. It's like a lasagna type dish. So you can put on what you want. You know, that is cheddar and a little bit of parmesan, or a little bit of mozzarella in there. We want it all stickied up, don't we? And you can go in there, a little bit of ricotta. Anything you want really. Cottage cheese. Whatever you fancy is your cheese layer. So we are back on there with our cabbage layer. Give it a squidging. Squidge it in. Come on, don't waste any of this cabbage. Get it in there. And then we are on there with our meat. Get our meat layer back on there. So what we're looking at getting is the meat actually cooking through the cabbage. Hopefully. It's going to be like a lasagna. Pack it in down there. Oh, my mouth is watering already and we're not even done yet. On there, cheese layer. That looks a bit special. Grab yourself some foil. Now you can oil all the inside of that foil if you want, if you don't want it to stick. I don't think we've much choice really. So we'll just get a little bit of oil on there. Grab some kitchen towel and we're going to oil the inside. However, remember when you come to take this off that the inside has been oiled and it will be red hot. That loosely, and I mean loosely, you know, don't go tight. All we're trying to do is steam out the cabbage inside. Now make sure this thing is on a tray like I've done, because it will boil over. Guaranteed. Right, slap that in the oven. Oven's still on at 200. In the oven, and it's in for 30 minutes like this. And then we'll take the top off for 15. So that's in there, but you're not going to see much obviously till we take the tin foil off. Okay, we've had about 30 minutes. Thereabouts. We need to be taking off that foil. There you go. I mean, that is looking absolutely superb. That is better than stuffed cabbage rolls. That looks absolutely amazing. You can keep your stuffed cabbage rolls. This is the same. It's cabbage, it's the mincemeat. We got cheese on. Look at that. That is absolutely sensational. Right, that's going to have to stop on there for at least 10 minutes. Let it cool down and we're going to dig in. Oh, yes, please. Just come round there. Come on, we're in. We're in. Oh, look. Look at that. Oh, on here. Come on. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is sensational. Just look at that. Cabbage steak lasagna. We've got our savoury minced beef and we've got our cheese. That is absolutely flipping sensational. Look at that. Wow. Come on, we're in. Under there, look. Look at all that cabbage in here. Oh, come on. Oh, yes, please. Oh, yes, please. Straight through to where all the cheese is. Wow. Oh my word. Oh my word. Oh, that is off the charts. Oh, that is... Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, come on. Oh, heck. You know, there's a sweetness to this. The cabbage is cooked. It's sweet. It's delicious. It's sensational. Got the cheese in there. You got our meat sauce. Oh. Well, I can tell you now, you can't go wrong with this. It is absolutely delicious. It really is delicious if you like cabbage rolls. This takes it to a new level by a long way. Really, really delicious. You know, just looking there, we've got our cabbage steak in there, we've got our cheese in there, we've got our sauce, topped with that nice bubbling cheese on the top. That is superb. That is one to make. Really one to make. It's delicious. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to tell your friends how easy it is to change it up from cabbage rolls to cabbage steak lasagna, savoury minced beef and our cheese. It's delicious. If you like what we're doing, big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, and I'll catch you in the next video. Oh, look at that. Layers and layers and layers of cabbage, which has all been integrated with our sauce. It is superb.